It's funny because sometimes I feel like this is like one of those like space capsule kind of things, you know, this uh, chronicling this time of my life. Um, but the this morning when I was talking, I was saying, you know, more things had happened that were just causing more confusion to me, just like uh, not more confusion. Well, yeah, confusion, but it was like a lot of triggering events, you know. And I have uh, my ways of communicating, and so when they're sending me certain signs, like I listen, and then sometimes you don't know what they mean until after the fact. So, you know, when a triggering event happens, or a tower event or whatever, something where a bunch of stuff hits you at once. So for me, like, I think sometimes I wonder, like, what is the difference? Like, what would I have used to do? And, you know, when I see what some people are doing, I think that's what I used to would do. Overreact, take things super personal, you know, need everybody to confirm to me that I was an okay person, and, you know, just, you know, it is this lower chakra reaction, you know, it's like you're on autopilot all the time, and I don't know, it's just different. But so now when something happens and I feel it, then it's like I want to process it. And one thing I was thinking about earlier too was, you know, when you say some of the words, psychology kind of takes these kind of healing practices, or ways of behaving, but they have a different philosophy. And psychology philosophy isn't always based on uh, the healthiest relationships or the healthiest state of being, you know. So I go with the spiritual, because a spiritual, you can't go wrong. It's a personal connection to what's out there, and that's what you'll figure out on your own. You know, you'll figure it out, what's out there. You don't need anyone to tell you. You'll find it. And it's a state of consciousness, and it's where you're going to align. And that's what, you know, where people are talking about dimensions and stuff. A lot of that stuff is all three-dimensional. It's words. It's a way that they're trying to describe something that is really hard to describe. And so, you know, I think some of the stuff, don't get caught up in it. But, you know, you will find your own idea, your own recognition, your own perception of what all that there is, you know, what you are. You won't need anyone else to tell you. You'll find it. It's all in here. It's a spiritual practice. It's mind, body, soul connection. It's finding your connection to all things. And you know, that's the main thing, you know. And the stuff that I talk about, hopefully it just helps you to be able to find how to find your connection more, how to recognize your connection, and how to understand, you know, there's life beyond us, because that's what's really important. But the psychology way of looking at things and healing, it's three-dimensional. It's you know, there's still a good guy and a bad guy, and that's not healthy. So anyways, for me now, what I do is that so I'll just take time to turn things off, turn off all of that outside noises. And you know, another thing, when you start doing that more, turning everything off, you're going to start noticing that there is a hum. There's fucking hums going. Where the fuck are they coming from? I thought I could get done before she got here. Alas, it did not work. She's quite in the mood today. Okay, stop. So if you do, when you turn everything off, you'll see, and you will hear like these high-pitched frequencies and stuff. It's crazy. Sometimes they'll hurt your ears even. So, what I'll do is, so I'm having all this stuff come to me. There was a couple of other people who've kind of been, where I've talked to, like, I had been talking to my mom about the Gate Saga, never knowing that it was going to turn into Hatfields and McCoy. She's a loud drinker. The other day when I was talking about her wiping her face on me, I was thinking, I'm talking about being aware of things, and I'm not even aware that she's over there slobbing through the water. That's one of the sounds I get used to in my own house, like her beating on the bells. Like, there's a difference sometimes, because she rings the bells to go out. But sometimes when she turns around, she has to have a big space, and her tail is bashing the bells to death while she's trying to turn around. Okay, so what I'll do is turn things off, turn off the noise. Like, sometimes even when I have something on my mind, to have like anything, the TV going or anything, it just feels like a distraction. Like, your mind, once you start being able to do this, your mind will tell you when it needs to just shut it down, shut everything off. And so I'll do that. And, what some people would call pray or meditate, go inside, ask your questions, communicate. And then, but you can't always just expect, like a voice, kind of like in the movie Bruce Almighty, like the voice is going to come from heaven and speak and tell you exactly what to do. No, you have to be able to translate. And the more that you connect, the more you can translate. Like, you could live in a house with a deaf person and never learn sign language and communicate. It depends on how in it are you. What is your thing? And that's the same thing with spiritual practice. Like, the more you tune in to what you are in your connection, there's like a hair stuck on my lips, my chops. That like lip gloss stuff is always like sticky, drives me crazy. It's probably like one of Stella's hairs. Those things, they're like super soft too. And you can just like feel it, but you can't get it. So anyways, that's what I'll do is turn things off, and then, sit and do a prayer, put it out there, what it is I'm looking for. What is it, and a lot of times it will be, show me what I'm not seeing. Help me understand what I'm blind to. And, then I went outside, and this is another thing where I will notice too, where the universe will like coax Stella to make me do something. I've told you before, they'll just turn my lights on and stuff. But they'll get Stella to keep harassing me. So I went out, and it was pretty nice. I wanted to go out a little bit later because it was going to be like in the mid 50s. But it was still the low 50s. And so it was nice. When I went out, I had like a warm jacket. When I came in, I had to take it off while I was still outside. I was sweating to death. But I went out, and it was trash day tomorrow. So I decided to go out and, clean up all poop and all that stuff. And it had, it's spring now. And so kind of the more storms are over and a really shitty weather. So there was a lot of stuff that had to be raked. So I just raked my whole yard. It was really, really relaxing. And out in my, is like I have my own little forest. So, I'm surrounded by trees. I'm connecting with nature. A lot of times when I'm out doing my yard, I feel like I'm the tender of this piece of earth. This is my little place that I get to take care of. And I believe in fairies and all that stuff. I believe in the, what are they called? They're called something. I'm sure somebody's listening to this right now and they're saying it. It's like I can hear them from the future. It's so funny because somebody, like I'm talking to someone in the future right now. It's funny. Let me think. What was it? They're called, maybe it'll come to me. But they are always, I believe that they are out there taking care of stuff. If you believe it, like it's an energy. It's like a little, they put it in as like Tinkerbell or something like that. But it's that kind of energy. It's this, excitable energy that, loves to take care of things and stuff. It's kind of like a hummingbird in another dimension or something in the energy world. But when you tune into those, and it's all by what your perception is, how you manifest what you see. Some people see energy, some people see colors, some people just feel the presence, some people will see a physical manifestation. It just depends on how you see things. And but recently I've seen actual physical, I know that's what they are. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. And the color and stuff, and the way they move. So, anyways, when I go out in my thing, and I did my yard, I wanted to do a natural forest yard, So, I did kind of like, I just did paths around my yard. And so I kind of see them as like meditation paths, like when you just need to go out and just think, you can just walk, kind of like prayer beads or any of those things, it's relaxing your mind and focusing on something besides your thoughts. And you go out there and you walk. And then another thing with the path, it has where a lot of trees have been cut down. And so you have to be mindful of every step. And so to me, it's like a meditation trail. And it's super nice. But today I was raking it, so I was tending it. I love that. I love having like my own little piece that is like, I show the earth back my love for it. You know what I mean? That's how I look at it. And so I was out there doing that. My mouth's getting dry now because I keep talking. Hold on. And so I was out there doing that. And I was just getting like insights and stuff. And it doesn't necessarily have to be something that's going to solve something for you. Sometimes it just is things to give you a different way of looking at things, to give you a wider view of a situation, so you don't get so narrow-minded and so, and then the more narrow-minded, the more things feel out of control. The more you broaden your view, your perspective, the more you look out, the calmer you'll feel. I feel like I'm linking it, talking about perspective. I feel like I looked really, like, I don't know, maybe I was really sweating a lot. I feel like my hair looks sweaty. But so we went out and I did all that out there, and it was very relaxing. And the window is covered, and I was like, oh gosh, this is so nice. I don't feel like anybody's watching me. I just feel like, oh, I can just run through here naked. Just, I don't like feeling like people are watching me. I don't like it. I don't know how people live with their houses super close together and stuff. Oof. I've done it before where, what is the closest I've lived to somebody? I don't know. I've been to people's houses, I swear to God, where you could put your arm out a window and touch your neighbors if they did the same thing. So, I mean, some people live really close. This is way too close. One time I heard somebody screaming their heads off. I thought somebody was being murdered in the street. I ran out the door. I was like, oh my God, I'm calling the neighbor. I'm like, oh my God, you hear that? What's going on? And this other neighbor across the street's walking out, and she's looking around, and I was coming from, and I'm calling like, oh my God, there's an emergency. And it's coming from that house. That was kind of funny. But anyway, so go out and doing that, and then I get like insights and stuff like that, and it gives me a wider perspective. And then I came in, and a lot of times I will do to mine, how I communicate with mine, because I know You can tell when they communicate back, because that tells you stuff about you that it just fits too right. Like it's stuff you're thinking about. It's stuff you can just tell. So I will, say, if you have something to say to me, tell me and, give me some message. So I will go in and see. And then these ones that I really like are these pick a card ones. And so you go in and it will tell you to pick a card. And you just have to decide which is drawing to you. And sometimes it's by the number. Sometimes you just look at the cards and just one, your eyes just go directly to it. Other times the cards will all be the same, and then I'll go numerology and I'll go, where's the timestamps? That's where I'll find my message. And so sometimes, your eyes will just go directly to it. And the other ones, you'll look at the other ones and it just kind of like, they just keep looking blurry. Sometimes you'll look at it and you'll know, and you can even hear it, but you'll be thinking, oh, that other one's so pretty. Maybe I should pick that other one. But don't pick the one just because you think it's pretty. Pick the one that you are hearing or that you just notice first thing. Because I think that they'll give you the message you're supposed to get no matter what. It doesn't matter what you pick. If that's how you're going to get your message, they're going to give you the message that you need, and you will get what you, and you'll know if it's to you. And, also you will know if it's to you if you get repetitive ones. If you, like in this case, so I did that one, and the messages were exactly what I was thinking about, exactly what was happening, all of it. And, my questions, it was like they were answering my questions directly. And so then, I still do it. You'll go, okay, well, maybe that was a coincidence. I mean, maybe. So then I did another one. It was the exact same thing, saying the exact same thing, a totally different person. Not both done today. They could have been done, one could have been done 6 months ago. One could have been done last week. It doesn't matter. It's when you ask for your messages to be answered a certain way, they'll communicate with you. And that way to me is just kind of like very direct. Like you'll know if you start using it as your method of communication, you'll know how direct. And because they know your innermost thoughts, they know your innermost things, and you'll know when they're answering you. So both of those, which, they were definitely things I needed to hear. It was very personal and right exactly to what was going on. So me detaching and, going in and relaxing and stuff, I'm changing my own mood. I'm taking control of my own reaction to the situation, and I'm going, and I'm not pointing fingers at somebody. I'm not blaming them, because this is the thing where we get caught up in these things that they can tear up relationships, or they can eat us up. And so the more that we can react in a healthy way, and that is a lot of times by being able to detach. Don't get yourself all emotionally caught up, and don't be triggered in these lower chakras that are very reactive. They're very autopilots, like your instinct, your first reaction. And most people have got so much pain and hurt that they're carrying down here. That's anger issues. Look at all these diagnoses, they're coming up with people. Borderline, they even had to expand that. It's like these are just injured people having a reaction. It's just like this gut reaction that comes out instinctually as a human being when, just like fight or flight. There's other ways that we respond in other instances, and it's being manipulated. We've talked about it a million times. It's all being manipulated, and it's all going to change. But as we're trying to change our own individual selves, then you, the more that you take control of it, the better you're going to feel about yourself. And so after that, then I thought, I'm going to watch a movie. There was something else. It seemed like this day has just been like, some days, you know, it seems like you live so much life. It's like 3 days in one day. Another day, it can seem like, but there was other things that happened. But then I ended up watching this movie that I had started last night. And then I went to bed. I didn't finish it. And then I thought, it must have been after the tarot thing that I decided, oh, I'm going to just go finish that movie. Just get out of this mood, you know, and just watch something funny. Last night I was watching something about Mary. I was just cracking up. I was like, oh my gosh, this stuff was, it's so, you know, they've classified all this humor as, it's all, they keep canceling everything and canceling everyone. But everything is, you know, is going to hurt someone's feelings. It's like, oh my God, people need to quit having such feelings that they get them hurt so easy. Like, the more we heal, like, we've got so many injured people. Like, you can't say a damn thing or you're going to hurt someone's feelings. It's like, oh, Jesus Christ, you guys, fucking grow some skin. They just got emotions. They're just out there raw. But it's all, you know, it's just so much manipulation. But the more that you can take control of your own emotions, and so doing things like, you know, detaching yourself from things, from the noise, relaxing, going out and connecting with nature is such a good one. Going for a walk. I love the going out and raking. I like raking so much better than mowing. It's so much more relaxing. And I swear, I think they have it like in some Japanese kind of garden thing where you go and you just rake sand. And it's some kind of soothing, relaxing thing. But they have all of the healthier ways of being together mentally and spiritually connected. Western medicine and Western healing is all money-making bullshit. Big pharma bullshit. You know, corporate bullshit. You know, fuck. It's just out to ream us. Take the Vaseline. It's not going to be pretty. So I just think that, you know, you got to figure out your own steps, though. Like, I'm just giving ideas. I'm not saying, oh, do this and you'll be healed. You know, that's, you know, I've said it a bunch of times. If you're getting that idea, then you're not listening to me. As I've said, I've been on this journey for years and years. I've spent the first one I think was 8 or 9 months in isolation. And then this time has been 12 months in isolation. And you do some spiritual growth. I'll guarantee it. I think a lot of people would in 1 month. But it's transformative. I'll tell you. So I'm just sharing, you know, things that I've learned along my way. You know, whatever I can do to help people, you know, that's why we're all here. You know, I can just recognize what I need to be doing at this time. Like they wake me up and tell me, tell me things I need to talk about. But for me, then I went in to watch those movies, and the something about Mary one yesterday. It was so funny. It was so inappropriate. It was so hilarious, and it was so fun to just laugh at that stupid shit, you know. And I don't know, really, the whole thing with retard really irritates me. It's like, why did they have to rob us of that word? I love that word. I can't stand it that they're like, you're not allowed to use it. I would never call somebody who was mentally disabled that. I mean, I'm mentally disabled. If somebody wants me to call me a retard, I mean, I've definitely been called things that are just as bad. So, I don't know. But I love that word. I mean, when you say that, are you retarded? Like, people know. You're saying like, you know, it just has a lot of meaning. I love that word. But anyways, there's a lot of stuff with that in there. I was just cracking up. It was so funny. And then whatever was watching after, when I went to bed, I couldn't remember what it was. I had no idea what I was watching. So when I went on, it just luckily popped up as the first movie when I turned on Prime. It was, I don't know, whatever, in their little dock waiting for me. And so I went in and started watching it, and I was like, oh, this is so cute. It's what was the movie called? Oh, it's so hard. And I just watched it. It had Chris Evans in it. Oh, I remember. He was a writer. He was supposed to write a script for a rom-com, and all his friends were writers. And it's always, one of them was a girl, and it's that weird girl. She's always a weirdo. She's so funny. She's kind of like tall and lanky, and she's got dark hair, and she always has her makeup really dark around her eye. I think really dark, and real bright red lipstick. And she's always just like really monotone and kind of just a weirdo, and just like, she's one of those people who does reads their poems in bars or something. And of course, it's about her vagina, and she's yelling it and acting it out. Oh yeah, she's giving birth to this plastic doll. Like, it's that kind of weird kind of movie. It was really hilarious. And his other friends, his guys, they all look exactly alike. One of the Wilson brothers, I think it was Luke. He's in it. It's more people, but I'm horrible with names anymore. I used to be able to say who was in movies, but anyways, all these guys look alike. They have funny interactions. But this guy goes and he falls for this girl, and she's getting engaged to this total douchey guy, and I think his name's Chris Evans. I see him all the time. I think he plays some superhero or something. I'm not into superhero movies. But I think that's his name. Anyway, he's a real good looking guy. And he's funny in this movie. He keeps playing all these characters. He like has this wild, vivid imagination. Only he's the characters. So whatever the storyline is, it's always him playing it. He's just weird. But so he just really falls for this girl. Of course, before he was a womanizer. Totally falls for this girl. And it was like they were like very compatible, like, I don't know, soulmates or some kind of like soul connection. Like there was some kind of thing there that pulled them together that was cosmic, you know. It wasn't, oh, that's what it was when I was thinking about the psychology thing. Because in the psychology, the stuff that they would say are what pulls you together is all things that are wrong with you. Like you are pulled in by the things that you hated about your dad, or that you hold against your mom. Those are what pulls you into these people. And, you know, when I was in those relationships that were really shitty and those were the kinds of things I'd be thinking, like, you know, okay, so is this guy like my dad? Like, what is going on? Like, okay, so I keep marrying my dad, and what? And I kept trying to go at it from that point of view. You know, I'd get books and stuff, read, trying to figure out, like, what is wrong with me? Why am I going in these relationships that are so, they don't have my best interest in mind? That I honestly think that these people don't even really like girls. And they especially don't like this one. So I'm just like really questioning myself. And but then when you switch out of the psychological and you go with the spiritual, and you're like, you're going to be drawn to people because you have some kind of a connection, and they will be there to teach you. And you're going to go through some hard lessons. There's going to be some of these people who are going to be bad guys. in the end, that you're going to learn a lot. You know, they're good people on the other side, on this life, in this experience. That's what the role is they're playing, is to reflect something to me, because I'm the one who's got to change. I'm here for my own journey, my own growth. I mean, ultimately, you know, there is people who come to be a catalyst for somebody else, but anything that your experiences are your responsibility, I guess maybe is a better way to say it, or something. But so in the spiritual way of looking at it, you have like, these people are there for your own personal growth. So what you can learn from them about yourself. And, not like, oh, in that relationship, I learned about narcissists. I learned what kind of assholes narcissists are. That's not what I'm talking about. It is when you learn about yourself. Like, I'm not even sure how to explain some of the stuff I learned about myself. But definitely I was giving my power over to someone else. I was trying to please people and, take parts of myself away that they didn't like. And, that's not a healthy way to be. And definitely not a healthy way to be in a long-term relationship or raising kids together. So, in a spiritual sense, of way of looking at relationships, to me, just, I don't know, gave me more insight. It helped me to have more control and realization and stuff. If living, by psychology works for you, then, more power to you. I mean, everybody's got to figure this out on their own. For me, though, I prefer to look at it from a spiritual perspective. And, you have to come at it, like, from different way. I come at it from reincarnation. And, there's a purpose to this. And you're not born one time, and you're born over and over and over. And you will experience every aspect possible. And you have control. You know what's going to happen before you take on the job. A lot of times the jobs are a lot harder than what we think they're going to be. But, so in that movie, when, that's what it was making me think about, the psychology thing. But in this movie, so she feels obligated to stay with this other fella, even though she has this intense feelings towards this guy. And this guy's just like, oh my gosh, he can't even barely function. Like, all he's doing is just looking for someone to listen to him talk. I don't know that he's eating or sleeping or anything. He's just distraught. He felt like, I've got to be with this girl. I've got to be with this girl. What the hell is going on? This doesn't make any sense. And so he keeps going after her, and she keeps pushing him away. And it was really cool. There was just so many cool things in that story where I was really getting a lot of it. And it was completely taking my mind away. Like, it was just taking all that stuff away and just made it just so unimportant. Like, why get worked up over some of this stuff? This stuff is going to work itself out. I don't need to fix everybody's problems. I don't need to, I don't need to worry about anything. If you feel like you're close to God, God is not going to hurt you, even if it's things that by all appearance seem like a painful situation. It's still, when you get past it, you see if you can get up. Some people, it takes them a long time to get through something, and they have to do all sorts of things to get through it. But once you get to a healthy place after the pain, then you see, like, things make so much more sense. But the movie after that was, I was just watching it. Oh, and it was another one. So, when it does that thing and it gives you the next movies pop up in this one. So it could be just an algorithm or something, because it was so similar with the story. of these two people be connected. And this one was the couples. They were both with different people and having these horrible relationships, and then these relationships broke up, and one of them was selling something on eBay, and this one found it, and then they found each other, and they got together, and this whole love story, and it happened so fast. It was really cute. But of course, they were lying to each other. Like, they were building themselves up to be a lot cooler than they were. And then, you know, that of course had to come out about all the lies they had told each other. But I love the thing with having these different lives, and then they come together. It reminds me of I love that movie, Serendipity. Especially like if you were up here looking down and watching these ones, and you knew they were going to meet, and you're watching. I just think, I don't know, there's something that is cool about that. And so, and this one, they get together, and they're like, they're both just these oddballs. And I just love that too. Like, I think that I didn't ever see this movie, but then in my daughter's wedding, she had a poem about a lobster. And that movie, I think, was about this. But I mean, no matter how odd you are, that there's somebody out there for you. But the thing is when you're going through bad relationships, you know, and you're in the like learning kind of phase, you wouldn't recognize a good relationship. It's not the good relationship that's going to save you. You have to save yourself. You have to figure yourself out. So you prepare yourself for somebody else, so that you're ready for a good relationship, and you can meet somebody else who's ready for a good relationship. Because you can't go into something and think they're going to make it a good relationship. And if you're having any bad relationships, then you can't think there's a perfect relationship that's going to come out there and save you. You know, you have to be in a really good place mentally to be ready for a good relationship. And I think there's so many people who have thought, you know, that a relationship will save them, this will save them, this will make things better. I just think it's not the best way to look at it. But I did like in this one, though, that so they met, and they were going to get divorced after 10 days because of all the lies they had told each other, and, you know, they didn't know each other. I mean, maybe they'd been on like 3 dates and they got married or something. I think she moved right in. I think they went on 1 date, and then she moved, maybe 2. I don't know. But it was fast. And so they didn't know each other at all in the lies and stuff. Like his friend had this really cool classic Mustang, and this guy told the girl when he took her on a date that it was his car. So then when he married her, he still hadn't told her that it wasn't his car. So just lies like that. But, and then they had he had these really wacky parents. They were so wacky. They were like these parents that just are activists. You know, they're going to go and fight the Japanese over the dolphins, and go fight the Swedes over the seals or something. Those kind of people. They were in Antarctica fighting, and every time they give a gift, you would open your gift and it would be like money had been donated to some cause. And it's just so funny, you know, because some of those people that are like that, they are super self-righteous, and you know, this is important to me, so it's important to you, right? Like, not necessarily. Maybe you've got some other things that are important to me. I don't know. But the parents were funny. They were really characters. But, you know, after I just talked about the stereotypes, you know, and then they were funny characters, and they were stereotypes. It's a fine line. Everything's a fine line. So shades of gray everywhere. That's why we can't judge. You can't judge anything. You can't say this is right or that's right. Everything has got to be just what it is at that moment. You know, that's what it is. And it's whatever you and whoever else is in the experience thinks it is. That's all it is, you know. So, yeah, they stereotyped, and it was funny. And I did laugh at these people who did find, what is that word, contentious, or I don't know, snobby. So then the couple, you know, they were going to get divorced. And then they ended up working it out. And I just thought, and then, you know, the last bits, the last little closing scenes or whatever, is them having fun and doing really cute, weird stuff. And it was just cute. And for them, you know, and I was thinking, you know, they could work on that relationship. I mean, it was a lot newer and stuff. And, you know, facing the lies right front on, and, you know, being honest, and, you know, being your real self, putting yourself out there, being vulnerable, exposing yourself for who you are. You know, that's scary stuff for a lot of people. And if they don't get the reaction that they are hoping for, they come at you like fucking daggers. But, you know, that's not really a healthy way of being. If you're ready to murder somebody over their opinion of you, it's like, I mean, we all have opinions of each other. We all would, you know. So, is anybody's opinion more valid than our own? Or the people that are the closest to us? So, I don't know. I don't think we really need to care about what every single person on the earth thinks of us. I don't think it really matters. As long as every interaction you have, that you are being, I think, a kind person, you know? You just treat people like you would hope to be treated. I think it's so basic. It's not that hard. And, you know, if you aren't at your best behavior 100% of the time, forgive yourself. Learn by your mistakes. And, you know, each day is a day to do better. You know, and each day is a gift. Literally. I mean, people don't always get that long on this planet, you know, and it's recycling. Okay. Well, I just wanted to talk about those things, but it really, you know, that process really did change my mood, where I felt like totally Debbie Downer this morning, just like, oh, just beat up, just like, oh my God, you know, what the fuck? And then all those things, you know, laughing and just getting your mind out of it, then it takes your spirit out of it. You just feel better. And then, you know, it just is not affecting me like that, you know. I could think about it and I'm not going to feel beat down, you know. And if I do start feeling beat down again, then go back out. Maybe do a cleansing in my house, get the bad energy out. Because you can create that bad energy yourself. You can suck it in, suck it up, suck it. You know, if you're down or just, you know, if you're just depressed and you're just in your room, you have the lights off and you haven't changed the sheets in a few weeks and everything's dark and, you know, pile of dirty dishes and cups, some rotten food, you know, you're not going to feel better. It's not going to make you feel better at all. You have to take control of the situation. You got to turn on the fucking light. You got to put on some goddamn clothes. You got to go out for a walk. Come in, turn on all the lights. Turn on some upbeat music. Do not put anything on that is a downer. Don't put sad movies on. Don't put stressful movies on. Don't put sad music. Don't put music that reminds you of a bad time in your life. Just put on some happy music and clean your house. You know, just start with that. Just get out of the one room, you know, move. Even if all you can do that one day is just change your clothes, you know, just do something. Take some control, some action in your day. And each day, try and take another one and another one and another one. And if it's baby steps to be able to get you to go, you know, to walk to the front door or get outside and take a walk, then, you know, don't beat yourself up. You know, it doesn't mean you're a piece of shit. It means you're having a bad time. You know, give yourself a break. And there's a lot of stuff to process. There's a lot of pain out there. So that's a real upper. But I feel good. So, you know, just find things to make yourself feel better, and always put on something to make you laugh, or something to make you smile, or something that makes you want to dance, because every day is really a blessing, and having gratitude for everyone, you know, is really great. And I know there's days that we can't always do that, but you know, just remember that there's going to be a sunny day just around the corner. Have a great night. Talk to you later.